Good morning, everybody, or good evening to some. Good evening, good morning.
Yo.
Welcome, everybody.
Oh, we've got 310 people coming in. Welcome back, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome back.
Now it's time to find out who did the homework and who didn't do it.
Exactly, we're watching closely.
Good morning.
Cool. Tell us in the chat how everyone's doing. How's your weekend been? Good Monday morning or afternoon for some people. I know we were pushing. I know I was sending you a lot of spam in Discord, but we're so glad to see you all here. And very excited for what Sheldon has in store for us this morning and for later today. Just super excited to see what's coming. So yeah, and welcome back to the rest of the team, to Mama Sniper and to Jason and to I saw Craig.
Hello, everybody.
And of course to Sheldon, who's been working around the clock. So I'm surprised you're still alive and kicking, Sheldon, with all the things you've had going on. So
yeah, it's been crazy. I just came from a 4-day shoot from Thursday all the way, so we did not stop. I only got home at 9 o'clock last night, so we haven't stopped for 4 days. But we're here.
Cool. Okay, so let's get into it. I think first and foremost, we want to hear from all of you how things went. So since we last met at workshop 1, Sheldon gave you a very particular task. He said, go away and take some trades using your school fees, some of the money that you had put into your exchanges. And we've seen a lot of activity in the Discord, lots of posts, charts being posted, been really exciting to see people posting, questions coming up. So please tell us in the chat how you are, how has your week been? If you've had a highlight, if you've had a, I'm so sorry, that's my dog barking like crazy hooligan in the background. If you had a trade that worked for you, if there was something that clicked, just tell us in the chat how that went. And then let's hear from some people as well. We'd love to hear from you. What is your success story from the week? Who would like to share? Pop your hand up or tell us in the chat and we'll pull some people up to hear from you.
While we're waiting for some, I see a few here at least. Some guys got stopped. I see someone here, some got stopped and took profits in the week. Phenomenal. Now you understand how they both work, which is incredible. That's what we want. We got to get it out of the way, guys. We have to get it out of the way. You got to get a stoppage. You got to get a take profits. You got to understand how the exchange works, how much fees it takes when it hits, what happens, you just have to have the basic understanding. And also taking the second note of it is when I got stopped out, did I get stopped and then trade continued in the correct analysis? Like, was it a good or bad stop loss? That's ultimately one of the big lessons you got to put in there. And it's the same with the take profits. Did it hit the area and then come back down? So my take profit was a massive success, or did it keep going? Which still makes it a success, but ultimately still means that you could have tweaked your strategy slightly to make sure that you can take a little bit more advantage on the next trade. So ultimately you're using this data, and I'm so glad that some of you got stopped, some got TP'd. I see some people said that I haven't even lost. There's a few people, there's someone that said I got a 4% gain on a near short. You've learned how to short, you know what I mean? Without leverage and without this big thing, like you've learned how to short. You know how incredible that is. You've learned how to make dollars when the market goes down. And you didn't have to sacrifice liquidations and borrowing money and all this stuff. You've learned a damn skill. That's incredible. And now from that, all we can do is tweak and get better with stop losses, better with take profits, and better with the amount of success trades. So let's actually go through.
I'm proud of Ben. He got a banger trade on Theta. Welcome to the Theta team, Ben. Love it.
Awesome.
Got stopped out into profit BTC this morning. Amazing. So you got a stoppage. So that's another form of a stop loss. And that form of a stop loss is also trailing that up as it's going up and basically getting stopped out in profits. That's another strategy. It's another great strategy. And ultimately that is a successful stop loss. That is a successful stop loss. It took you out with profits. So that's really good. Better win rate. Amazing. I got stopped out of 2 trades, but good lessons learned. Fantastic. I hope you just wrote them down, exact reasons. Just to your understanding. Remember, your understanding and your knowledge is going to grow and you'll soon understand a little bit more. But to the basic knowledge that you have now, why did you get stopped twice? And from that, we can basically start working with that. And as you start increasing your knowledge, you start understanding a few more reasons. But ultimately, that was great. There must have been, and I'd actually love for some of you guys that are talking over here, we are going to look at bringing up some trading journals. I want to see how you guys have been trading. But ultimately, I would love for the person that got stopped out of 2 trades to actually just explain those 2 trades to me in a very quick brief. And if you explain those 2 trades to me in a quick brief, I can already give you probably the 2 biggest lessons that you have to learn now. And you do that now, guys, like you don't even understand the power of the foundation that we're building right now. Like the fact that you're taking 5 trades in an uncomfortable market right now, learning exactly how to use every tool, learning how to use a trading journal, learning how to build a rule system. Like you are building incredible foundation, like incredible. We only learned this, I'd say probably 12 months. It was at the time that I only ever started implementing this. You're getting the advantage of implementing it from the start, which is massive. It's your foundation holds everything, guys. Think about if you want to build a building. If you really nail that foundation and you nail that structure and you nail the damn team that you have behind it, you can build a skyscraper that's really big, you know. But if you don't have that right, it's coming down. You know what I mean? Like you can't build that big. It's very important. So the foundation holds everything. My entry was low for 2 trades. I got stopped today on a short squeeze. Amazing. End of the day, you got stopped and market kept going up. Successful stop loss. Next trade's bigger. Simple rule of it, and go for it. You know, go for it.
Sorry, I also saw from Crypto Chick. Crypto Chick, if you're happy to chat with us, you said you had a great week, 10 trades, 3 losses, 7 wins, and you're very happy. It would be great to hear what you did. That's a lot of trades.
Guys,
and a lot of wins.
I want you to go look at the chat right now and tell me that this is not possible. Go look through the chat right now as we speak. People are getting it right. It's that commitment and that love of the game that it's here. It's a foundation, but people are getting it right. Even the ones that got stopped more than wins, it does not matter. Like people are getting it right. It is possible. I think that's the big crack we got to make. It is possible.
Amazing. There's Crypto Chick. Please
Crypto
tell
Chick.
us. Tell us.
What's
Well
up?
done. Tell us about your trades.
Hey guys, well, it's really great to be here. Of course, I'm following your channel since ages, I think since the beginning, really. And I never really got it right. So really for the first time now doing everything like Sheldon did. So I just basically took the trades. I looked at the Fibonacci. I looked at, of course, when the lines cross. And so I just took the trades, and, you know, I did set my stop losses right. This morning I got stopped out because obviously I had the Bitcoin set it up to 17,240 something, my stop loss, and I got stopped out to the upside. So it was great. So amazing. I'm super happy. So yeah.
That's exciting. Well done. Well done. Well done. What was your biggest, did you understand why you won the trades? I think was did you?
Totally.
Fantastic.
I know, but this is the point. I took so many trading courses in the past, but for the first time I understood, why did I get into this trade? Why? And so, and that was like, yeah, it's great.
Amazing.
I'm
Amazing. And so far, out of all the tools, what's your favorite? What's Crypto Chick's one that you're like, this is my.
Yeah, I think the moving averages.
Okay. Fantastic. Fantastic.
For me.
That's great. No, that's great. So remember what I'm doing, guys, is I'm going to show you what works for me, but I'm teaching you the skill that you can go test all of the indicators out there. You can go test whatever you want and you can see what works for you, but I'm just teaching you the power of combining them and making sure that you have a checklist. You know, having a checklist to say, I'm about to take this trade. I need 4 of these things to say that I can take this trade. And ultimately, you know, when those 4 do, you just stick to that system. And then what you do at the end of the week is you go to your trading journal and you go look at your success. Like what you're doing right now, you're on 7 out of 10 is phenomenal. So now
but
capture
it's your
on
simplicity, Sheldon. It's your simplicity.
It is. But remember, I cannot push that button for you. I can't do those things. Like what you did in the last week is phenomenal. And you need to now go take those 7 wins and be like, what the hell did I do? Because this worked and I'm understanding why it worked. So I need to build a powerhouse rule system around this because this is how I want to trade. It's not only the losses that's going to build that foundation for you. You just had the killer week right now. And if you can really prosper instead of just saying I won, because you know what the problem is with winning is winning's great, but winning gets you in that thing where you don't improve. When do we improve? We always improve when our butts get kicked, when the market turns us, and then we're like, oh, I need to be better. I need to make sure that doesn't happen again. You need to do that now on your success. You need to see like, okay, cool. I got this right now, but this is just as important as a loss. This is how can I make sure I do that more? And how can I make sure that it's in my rule system? So the next time I take the trades, I have the checklist on what's worked previously and make sure that you keep building. So I just want to keep inspiring you that I'm so damn proud of you for taking the trades. And you have had a successful, incredible week. You really have.
And I
Now
think that's what
use
the tools give you as well. They help you trust yourself. They help you trust your decision. And it's exactly the whole thing about planning your trade, you know, and then trade your plan. And you got to trust that process. We get scared, we back out, and then we FOMO in quickly, and then we make our mistakes, and you trusted yourself. And so, yes, Sheldon gives you the tools, but the hardest challenge is you here. And if you can get that right,
and I'm writing everything, you know, I have everything here.
What was your, let's look at both on a quick example, if you don't mind. Your 3 stoppages, were they in profits or were they like, what would you say? Could you just say in your head now, what do you think the problem was, why you got stopped on those 3, or the 3 losses, let's say? Is there any way that you can like, I did this wrong, or I ignored this, or like, is there anything that you can just have that basic understanding of why you got those 3 wrong?
Yeah, I didn't follow the rules.
yeah.
Welcome to the DJ group.
Welcome to the DJ group. But do you also have the belief now that it's not that hard? If I just build the system right and I just follow it, you know that it's okay, and you're not scared, and you're confident in your decisions, and you're confident in these flows. And simplicity. You got stopped out because you didn't listen to your own rules. That's it. But that's beautiful. I'm super proud of you. Just do me one favor. Remember, when you have a killer week like that, and you've had that win, and you're on the ball, you know, use that to your advantage. Upgrade your system. You know, upgrade that. Pay a little bit of attention to the losses, and be like, how can I tweak that a bit more? But you have just done an outstanding job, and I'm extremely proud of you. So well done.
Well, you have actually, because you're teaching us. So thank you.
Thank you, Crypto Chick, and congratulations.
Thank you so much.
That's
Congrats.
awesome.
I
wanted to.
Yeah. Sorry, Gina.
No, go for it.
I see there's a comment or two about a couple of people that said yes, the technical analysis probably would have been right, but they've just been too scared to take the trade. Guys, nothing stops you from taking a mental trade. Plan your trade and actually take the trade, whether you put money in or not. Make it an artificial trade or something. If you're too scared, but take the trade, because you're not going to learn if you don't take the trade. Some of the exchanges have also got play money that you can go and play with, or just, you know, do a mental one. It's okay, if I took the trade this way, would I win? And keep a journal on what you would have done. If you're really, really too scared, look, it's always best because you get the emotional feeling with winning and losing money. When you do a fake trade, you're not really connected so much emotionally, and I think that's what you got to get over. But just start. It's okay to start with a fake trade.
I think just to speak into that, some of our winning teams and some of our moderators were doing a lot of paper trading using a BitGet feature. Where you have $3,000 to work with, and so maybe Terry Lynn and the rest of the mods.
Gives you it gives you a trading account where you can trade at $3,000 as play.
It's just
play.
limited
what
to
it does,
the tokens. You don't
have
have
it's
all
mainly
the
Bitcoin.
available.
I think it's like 3 tokens.
3 or 4 tokens, but it doesn't matter.
It's great. It's great. So for me, it's guys, you do both. You dip your toes with getting the paper trades, trading with some fake money, just so you can start understanding the sort of thing. And then you got to put like $5 or $10 in, skin in the game. Because the only difference you're going to see a slight difference in yourself when that happens. And the slight difference is learning how to trade with emotion versus trading without emotion. When you don't have money in the game and, you know, paper trail, it's great. It gets you the understanding of TA and like, this would have been great. This would have been great. But you don't have that emotional attachment. And it's crazy how we become stupid. Sorry for my thing, but it's crazy how we become stupid when we have that emotional attachment. And you'll see the slight difference. So you got to remember, step 1 is to get comfortable with taking trades. That you can use paper trail, that sort of thing. Step 2 is learning how to control your emotions. And in order to do that, you got to put some skin in the game. Can be $10, can be this, whatever, to see that I just did it on paper trail. I just got 5 out of 10. I just did it. Can I do the same with real money? And you'll see how this...
That
Yes.
fear of clicking the button is just, it's such a big thing to actually get going, you know. I mean, people might realize that in all things of life, you know, when you need to start studying or I need to start a new job, it's just that getting started is so hard. And the biggest fear, or what I found from the trading aspect as to why people battle to click the money, is the fear of loss. So fear of loss is the biggest thing that actually stops you getting going, but it's that fear that you need to get over to actually start making money. And sometimes, I'm not saying it's the case with you, it might be that you're trying to put too much into a trade. So as Sheldon said, even $10, $5, skin in the game is going to bring the emotions to you. Get it right with that. And then you'll be good. And once you get going, you'll see it'll start calming down that initial fear of just clicking the button, you know?
Exactly.
I
Guys,
think-
and go.
Sorry,
Gina.
go for it, Sheldon. No, go for it.
Guys, and that's where the session comes today. The session comes today where it's time now. You started taking trades. You're learning the journals. Now it's time for us to start splitting that money and knowing what are you building in the space. Let's start attaching that from an exchange to a specific time frame. Let's start building a powerhouse system for that specific business and that specific run. And you'll start to see, guys, that sometimes when you join crypto, you want to be a part of the space. You want to be a part of the growth. You want to be part of what it's trying to do in the world. But ultimately, you can do it without having to be extremely risky or extremely irresponsible in that way. And in order to do that is you will say, okay, you know, I got a $1,000 account, you know, $100 I'm willing to go crazy to get me really good at the skill, but $900 of it I can't lose, and I just want to get something good that will be worth something in the future. And ultimately, that's how we can link that $900, go take it to a weekly or monthly chart, build you a safe, powerful strategy that you can breathe. That 90% of your capital is sitting in something that flows on a basic good system that runs. And you got $100 that's there to get you good and to actually start being like, okay, whoa, I'm going to use this $100 to get good. I'll first use $10 of it to learn my school fees. I'm not paying this $100 to learn my lessons. Remember, you pay for every single lesson. Then what I'm going to do is once I start getting it right, I'm going to turn this $100 into a business that I can use that can make me $100 every 2 days. Okay, cool. So how do we do you see how we start to take your actual portfolio now and we start giving each percentage of money in that portfolio a purpose? Do you know what the problem is with trading and you put money in is if you don't have a purpose for the money, you'll see how it just goes crazy all over the place and you fall part of the system and a part of the rat race. The sad thing is we have a very shitty, sorry for my language, we have a very bad financial system that's been run by big dogs now. And the truth of it is they're coming into crypto and they're trying to do the exact same. So if you got purposeless money that you have no idea why it's there, it's just there because maybe it can make me some money or maybe it can this, whatever, it will suck you and get eaten. Like you just got to say, this is my portfolio. This is the purpose for that one. This is the purpose for that one. This is the purpose for that one. Each one has a tool, a time frame that's strictly attached to that. In that time frame, Crypto Chick just did it perfectly. She knows already her steps, steps that she needs for each trade. She's got the journal that is running with all of them. She's got the time frame that's running on all of them. And does it not bring you a little bit of peace that now you don't have to learn every single time frame? Imagine you have to sit and be like, okay, I want to buy Bitcoin. So the 1 hour is telling me this, the 4 hours telling me this, the 8 hours telling me this, the 12 hours telling me this, the daily is telling me this, the weekly is telling me this, the monthly is telling me this. How the hell do you make a decision? How do you? Because it's just so complicated. Now what we do is we split your portfolio. We build each part to a specific business on what it needs to generate and what's the purpose of that business. We attach it with a beautiful time frame. From that, we attach 4 tools to that time frame that you use to take long or short entries. And basically, we start building a powerhouse system for them. And then what you do is you also have an upgrading system. So basically what that means is if you got $100 account for your smaller account, and when that thing gets to $500 or $1,000, it can be upgraded to a 4-hour chart, like the next phase, where you can now build that into the next. And you'll see how you start to create a roadmap for each business. And the difference is then, think about it. If your business is grown now, okay, and then all of a sudden you have to jump onto a new journey or you have to upgrade something. If you'd never had the foundation for that upgrade, what's going to happen? So what we're doing now and all the hard work now is that's why I told you guys to structure every time frame and get an understanding of what every time frame offers you. And today, what I'm going to teach you is how do you see the ranges and the percentages of them and you make the next decision. But once you have that, you can be like, okay, cool. When my $100 account reaches $500, I then shift to the 4-hour system. And when you shift to the 4-hour system, the system's in place. The check system is there. Everything is there. The understanding, the tools that you use, it is built, which means the transition is smooth. That's not, let me jump into this new thing and then pay school fees again. Like we got to eliminate throughout all of that. Gina, if you want to jump back on, and then I'll start going through some charts, and let's go through everything. I'm very, very proud of you guys for all trading. There's tons of people that took trades and learning and actually feeling better. That it can
I wanted
be done.
to just I want to speak into the thing around fear that you were talking about, and just to send a huge shout out to Laverne, who's one of our alumni from crypto school. You guys have all frozen, and I'm wondering if it's my connection. Can you guys still hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, good stuff. That she says she's done her first trade ever after hodling for the longest time. So I think like just that amazing step of like moving forward, now finally having the confidence to do something. I think that speaks volumes, just into, excuse the pun, in terms of going through this course and now after a long time having the confidence. So shout out to you, Laverne. I know you've been on a journey to move from hodling to trading, and I think that's so exciting.
Incredible.
Cool. So Sheldon,
I saw a comment there from a person, Lee Coulton, saying I lost all my trades. It's about 40 messages back. So Lee, you need to now be looking at, why did I lose those trades? If you're having a whole string of losses and no wins, you need to actually stop. That's the number one thing. Stop. Figure out what's going on and then readjust and then move. But don't keep going with the same thing if you see it's not working. So that would be my advice to you.
A few things. Yeah, correct. A few things that you'll check on that is you probably chased trades. So you probably were not available when the initial trade was there. So you thought you could take it later, and you'll soon see how that happens, because it happens to me many times. I'll be watching my computer getting ready to trade, and then, Livy's crying. Okay, let me go put it to sleep. I go there, I go put it to sleep. I come back, the trade's gone. And I'm like, oh, okay, it's fine. I can still do it. You know what I mean? And I hit it, and then all of a sudden it just whoops my butt.
Another trade. Always another trade. And if you enter the trade late, your risk becomes exponentially higher because your stop loss just becomes so big. So if you miss it, don't go with that FOMO feeling. That's the real retail newbie emotion. Is FOMO. You see it going, so you start chasing it. And that's when
something I had to
just about a turn. And then you freak out and you quickly exit. So make sure of your entries.
That was something I battled with, and it's like Sheldon and I, we love to trade together. So even if we're not in the same room, we'll be on the phone with each other on a Zoom, and we're both staring at the chart. And Sheldon's like, okay, take the trade. Is it broken? It starts breaking structure, take the trade. And something happened, or I couldn't get it in. And literally 3 seconds later, Sheldon's like, okay, no, it's too late. And I'm like, no, we can still get in. It's like still there. He's like, no, it's too late. You've missed the trade. And that's one thing Sheldon had to teach me, was that patience, to wait. It'll come back down. And you just got to be patient. You don't, that FOMO.
And the trade is always there again.
Always there. They'll always
we got this like thing in us. It's going to be gone.
Yeah.
Always there.
That, oh, I'm missing out. No, don't, just wait.
Especially now, guys, when a bear market's going to go probably sideways for a while. Like, you got lots of time. We got lots of time to do all this stuff. We're all human. And first thing again, guys, love yourself. Love yourself for this. Love yourself for your losses. Love it for that. Just say, okay, cool. I am what I am. I think the way I think. Let's improve it. Like, let's build the base. Don't be angry with yourself. I remember that anger inside of you can turn you into a monster that like slowly just starts to destroy yourself. It's really bad. It like brings out this whole other side of you. Okay, cool, Gina. So
cool, let's get into it. Should I pull up the trading journal, and you can take some people through and then jump into...
I'll go through the trading journal after. I'm going to go through a few things now quickly, just to add to you guys. Remember, guys, the course is going to be improved and these sort of things, and I'm using little things just to see on where I can, and basically showing you extra alpha that's not in the course right now to make sense of things. And to understand what's sort of happening. So the first thing I want to jump through is, let me share, just confirm that we can see. We got it?
Yes, we can see.
Okay, fantastic. So the first thing again, guys, is understanding. I hope you guys all did that, and I'll say it to you again. Look to go, let me just see how I can get this a bit better. Look to go through all your time frames. Let's just see where that one. Yeah. Look to remember to go through all your time frames, use your RSIs, above 90 at the top and below 15 at the bottom, and just get an understanding of what that time frame does for you. It offers you a certain amount of trades in a certain amount of days. Just get that understanding of what the daily offers you, what the 12-hour offers you, the 8-hour, the 4-hour, the 1 hour. Remember, this is foundation work that you can always go back to, and it's done. And the reason why foundation work is so important is so that when you upgrade, your work's already done, so you don't have to go redo it again. You don't want to have to pay school fees every time you want to learn something. You can do all the hard work throughout now. So make sure you have got a good understanding of what the time frames offer you. Now, the next thing that I want to explain to you guys is the understanding that now you know what the time frame offers you time-wise, amounts of trade-wise, these sort of things. Now what you start doing is you start zooming into that. For example, in the last week, you would have gone through specific amounts of charts. Now, let's say, like for me personally, I'm quite busy right now. So for me to have a crazy small trading, smaller time frame trading accounts is not really possible. I do have one when I have time, but ultimately right now, my money is better in longer term views and a higher percentage of it because I'm busy. So you see how I can shift it. Maybe next month's different. I have a whole month available. Now I can take a good chunk and I can start swing trading it and these sort of things. But ultimately, I understand my portfolio. I understand my time and I know what time frames that I need. So for example, for me, the weekly is an important one for me because it's a high part of my portfolio and it's one that's not active, but it's one that's running continuously now. And it's because it's got so much capital, I need to pay a lot of attention to it. So the big thing that we first look at is we now understand the RSI and we understand like the simple tool. Let me just get rid of this. I see there's people in the waiting room. Okay. The first thing you want to look at on any time frame is what direction is the market moving? Is it on the 4-hour? Like quite simple. Are we accumulating? This is something you've learned in the course now. Are we accumulating? Are we moving strong up? We call it a bull wave. We actually call it an impulse wave where you got strong legs up, small corrections, strong legs up. So it's an impulse, correction, impulse. Okay. And it's the same with the market's moving down as well. Big legs down, up, sideways. Okay. Now, these are the 3 patterns you're only ever going to majority see. Yes, they are flag patterns and little things, but they come in at different times. For example, on a strong bull wave up, what would usually happen is a strong push up. Then we would form a flag, either a flag or pennant, or anything in that sort of format. You got to understand, and I explain it to you guys in the course, and make sure that that is also printed on your wall. What is a continuation pattern? What is a reversal pattern? Very important to understand. These strong legs and these strong moves to the upside, you would be getting continuation patterns. Can be a flag, can be anything in that sort of format. It can even be a pennant, where it's basically that we come in, we form that pennant, and then we break out and we basically continue. That's the majority understanding that these are the basic patterns that you're going to be getting when you're in a strong directional move in one way. It's the same thing on the way down. The market goes down from here, it will come down, it will form an uprising wedge or anything in that format. That's a bearish pattern. So guys, if the market, this is what's quite crazy. This is where the tricky part comes with trading and understanding it. You know, if the market's actually moving up slowly like this, this is bearish. Market's going up, we're making money, it's bearish. It's a bearish pattern that's forming. And then when the market's dumping and everyone's like scared and it's horrible, this is actually a bullish pattern that's forming. We got it the other way around. We got in the way of when the market's coming down, this is bearish, this is bad. But ultimately, yes, it is going down to lower levels, but it is forming a bullish pattern. And that's why we've always had the strong understanding of buying pullbacks and selling into pumps. Because every time we're pumping, we're actually forming a bearish pattern, especially when we consolidate and we go sideways and these sort of things. And it's the same when we're going down. When we're going down, it may look bearish, but we're actually building a bullish pattern. So have that basic understanding, because you want to jump in and be like, okay, if I'm ever on the weekly or I'm ever on the 8-hour chart or any of the time frames that you use to create a business, okay, there's only 3 major patterns or major directions the market can move: sideways, up, down. So put this in your little structure on your wall or whatever it is. because you need to understand that that's one of the first things you're looking at when you're looking for the actual trade or anything like that. Then what you want to do, and let me give you a little bit of a basic understanding. Okay, this is weekly, guys. I'll do one on a smaller time frame for you. But what I did, I was like, okay. So the markets either we get bull runs, we get bear markets, and we get accumulating markets. Okay. So I went off the previous data. I'm like, okay, cool. What does Bitcoin like to do in a bull market? And what I did is I took my RSIs from top to bottoms, and I basically started looking at each leg. It's like, okay. So Bitcoin's first leg over here, 90%. Second leg over here, 114%. Third leg, 95%. Okay. Each of these little corrections were between 30 and 40%. Okay. So what does that mean? You're getting 100% pump up, 40% correction, 100% up. Do you see here the clear difference of a continuation pattern? That's a continuation pattern. That's a strong pattern. And here we would have formed the same one on smaller time frames. These are things that continue in that sort of way. Then what happened was we actually formed a bearish pattern. This was on another time frame. It was a head and shoulders. And that was a big reversal candle on a higher time frame. The candles are also powerful, but I like to use candles more higher time frames. That's usually when they're really powerful. If you're getting a strong rejection or a wick candle on a super high time frame, it's usually extremely accurate in those times. But what I did was I took a basic understanding. Okay, so Bitcoin likes to pump 100% and then pull back 30, 40%. And I even went further back and it was always doing the same thing. It's always followed the same sort of route. And it's just understanding what the market does on this time frame when it's really bullish. Okay, from that, I then had the understanding. Then I was like, okay, cool. After that, we went into a bear market. Okay, and this is where very clearly now we're doing this one over here. And you could see over here what it basically came down to. So just before I jump into the bear market, I took this analysis there and I went over here and I'm like, I'm always going to be smarter than the rest, but here's simple data. This is what Bitcoin does on the weekly. It usually pump 100%, 30%, 100%. Cool. I got a basic understanding now on the higher time frame of what Bitcoin more or less does in that time. Fantastic. Now I go look at the second half where we got rejected, right? We got rejected. That's a very bearish candle engulfing really big. And that created all of this mess over here. What happened in that time? We had a 46% drop in Bitcoin. We then had a 47% pump. Then we had up to a 50%, 55% drop on the next one. Right now, we have not started the next little push to the upside. These are RSIs, guys, from top. You see how I took it from the top over there to the bottom. So I still use the RSIs. I use it as a complete wave. It's not about getting the exact top, exact bottom. It's more or less, if I just traded with RSI, where would have been my triggers? And this is exactly it. It would have given you a 46% loss over here or 46% more Bitcoin if you knew how to short. Then you would have had 47% more dollars to the upside. And then another 55% drop to the downside from the top. And you could basically, from this top over here. And you could see how that got. So I've still used the simple tools. Nothing that's showing up. But what it then gave me was an understanding of what the market does in the down cycle. I get 45%, and then I get 45, then I get 45. Remember, I haven't even put any tools yet. I'm looking at the token. Guys, you want to be so good. You want to know why my mom got good at Theta. Because she just traded and followed this thing and understood how it works. Now I have an understanding what Bitcoin does on the weekly. If it's a bear market or it's a bull market, I have a nice little basic understanding. After that, what I then do, now I bring out the trend lines. Now I bring out the moving averages. Now I bring out the tools to help me get these entries, where to put my stop loss, where to put my take profits, which I'll get into shortly. But at least now I have a basic understanding. And this is something that you should be doing on a majority of the charts. This may change and slightly adjust. End of the day, you understanding that when the market erupts and it finally gets out of the phase, and what that can mean from here is right now something's changed. I don't count Bitcoin in this strong wave down anymore. Let me show you an example. I don't think Bitcoin's in this anymore. Okay, and you can see it very clearly here. I see it entering this. Now, this ranging phase could be something that's maybe, it doesn't have to be exactly flat. It could range like this. That's fine. But ultimately, Bitcoin right now is ranging. And then what I saw was, okay, I see it ranging right now. Let me actually see what it's currently doing. And I measured these percentage moves over here. And what it gave me an understanding that right now Bitcoin's ranging, and this is what Bitcoin's offering me now on the weekly as we speak. More or less a 25% range on all of them. 25% corrections, 25% pump, 25% correction, 25% pump. So right now I jump in and I'm like, okay, I zoomed out now. I have a basic understanding of where Bitcoin is. Bitcoin's in a raging market. So if I'm trading this style over there, what happens? Dead. I get destroyed. I do, because I'm trying to trade this bad boy over here. I get absolutely destroyed. If I trade this bad boy over here, this is the problem that all the bears are making now. All the guys that are saying short. I get it. But if you're expecting 45 to 80 to very high percentage shorts, it's very clear that we are no longer in that strong pattern right now. We are in a ranging. So 20% short makes sense. But these huge ones, you're going to get wrecked. Because at some point, you're going to be expecting, you would have been 20% in profits. All of a sudden, we're going to hit the damn buy wall. And all of a sudden, this thing's going to shoot through the roof. And because you were stingy, and because you were expecting this when it was actually this, it's going to catch you so hard and it's going to hurt you. The market always does it. So do you see, by zooming out and just looking at the basic understanding, guys, and you should be doing this on all of your tokens. If you're trading this, let's say and it's quite simple. This is a weekly, guys. So I'm taking data, for the last 2-3 years. But it's very simple. If I jump into an 8-hour chart now and I go look what happened in the last week, what's this token doing right now in the last week? I don't have to go back 6 months. What's it doing? No, it's giving 10% up. It's giving 5% down, 10% up, 5% down. Every time we have a breakout and it's doing this move, it's then giving me 20% and a 6% down, and a 20% and a 6% down. Do you see how you can take the data now and you can go match all of this? So you can get a basic understanding. And the biggest trick of this, guys, is just to make sure that you're trading a style that's the correct one. You're not trading this style in this market. You're not trading this style in this market. And you're not trading this style in this market. It's all there for that basic protection. Now let's jump in over here. Let me show you quickly on the 8-hour. 8-hour, very simple. I jump onto the 8-hour now. All I need is data from the 9th of November. I'm not going back way further than that. And I just took RSI from cross at the bottom, below 10, above 90 at the top. And I just got an understanding of what was the trades. Remember, we already did the data on, let's actually see if it is here. I've already did the data of what the 8-hour does. The 8-hour only offers me a few trades. For example, right now, if from the 9th of November, I should have only traded 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. 5 times. And I should not be in a trade right now. There can be a short coming a little bit later. But what basically has it shown me? 9% up. Right now, what does this show? This shows, just give me an example. Just give me 2 secs, guys. It shows me we're very clearly in this pattern over here. Very clearly, I can see that. It may break out of that soon and turn into this, but right now we're still facing that pattern very much, and you can see it. You could see how it's basically just ranging sideways. If it all of a sudden breaks this area over here, we can be turning into this one, which is great. We're not confirmed that yet. We are still here, which means we can get rejected. But so ultimately, if you were trading the range, the sideways range, this would have been a perfect take profit point for you. Perfectly. Worst scenario, goes through, breaks up, and now we know we're in a different pattern. So now you enter this one on the retest, and now you know, okay, we're in a different pattern. Now I can hold these longer. I can hold them slightly longer, because now you know the bigger waves last longer and then the shorter waves. So it gives you that little idea of that basic mental shift of understanding the differences between those. Let's actually jump onto the next one over here. Oh, this was so now you got the daily, the one I said previously. You understand the amount of days, and now you understand the range that it's in. Fantastic. You know the percentages. Guys, why do you do this? Because you're gonna put your percentages slightly less. Because if you don't, like for example, right now the market's offering you 25%. That means put your take profits 20%. Like you don't have to go for the full 25, but you see what it's doing. It's making sure that you don't overhold things and you don't allow the emotions to offer you more, like tell you to hold more, or I can make more on this trade, or, you know, move my stop loss down, any of these sort of things. It protects you from doing that because this is currently off of data, what the market is giving you. So it structures that and gives you a way better understanding. Let's jump into this one over here. Okay, cool. So guys, big lesson from that before I jump in and show you the thing. Big lesson from that is to understand what does your time frame do? Understand the 3 different styles or 3 different ways and direction that the market can move in. And then taking that time frame and go analyze what it's done before so that you can get an understanding that when it's raging this coin, this is what I can expect. Not even expect, this is what I'm looking like. This is the basic foundation of what this token does throughout those times. If it's dropping, it does this. If it's sideways, it does this. Now I sit back and say, okay, cool. I'm ready to launch my business. I'm ready to start this bad boy. Okay, cool. What pattern are we in? No, we sideways. Okay, cool. So that means I can trade 6 times in the next month, and ultimately I can make 20% up, 20% down, 20% up. So out of those 6 trades, I can basically accumulate 60% more of my dollars in that time, and I can accumulate 60% more of my Bitcoin in that time. Do you guys understand? So now I get opportunity of 60% more dollars, 60% more Bitcoin, because we're ranging sideways. I understand the percentages. I understand what style of the market is. Do you see how you can now create a roadmap for your next target, and when you can upgrade your business, when you can move on to the next level? Because now you have an understanding of what you can do. Okay, so you're telling me I can take $1,000, I can make it $1,200 on my first move. Then I can make 20% more Bitcoin. Then I can make my account go to $1,600 because I have another 20% more Bitcoin on the next push up. Then all of a sudden down, I make another 20%. All of a sudden I'm making $2,400 on my next trade because I'm compounding Bitcoin. And all of a sudden out of those trades, you've just turned $1,000 into $2,600 by understanding. Now, a lot of people will think of it differently. A lot of people, I don't know why I'm not on screen here. Gina, I see you. We can just work. Now, a lot of people, now think about it, guys. In your head, how would you say you make 160% on your money? Now, I've got to buy Bitcoin at 20,000 and it's got to go to 60,000. That's how I'll make that amount of money. That's the simplicity of the way we think. But there you just figured out, oh, whoa, in the last 3 weeks, I could have done 6 trades and a thing. And it's because you understood it and you actually structured it for that. You didn't care if it went more. You never cared if it went less. If it went more, you would have just shifted. After that, you would have taken profits at the top. So let me show you. You would have taken profits at the top. And if we broke it, you're not scared. You're not scared if Bitcoin breaks out of this range here, because now you know the next cycle that you're getting into. So you will take profit at the top of this range. And let's say it does, because here's a very beautiful trending pattern here. Let's say it does break through. You now know the next phase that we can be getting into. And it could be the bullish phase from that. So you're no longer scared that there's no more trades available. There's no more that. It's more the power and understanding of now I know what this market's doing. Now I can build a full roadmap that I got 6 trades for the month. And I need, and I'm looking at making 150% on my capital on that specific actual trade, because that's what the market. Now, guys, if I had to take this same formula and put it on Solana or put it on on an altcoin, it's like in your face. It's way bigger in that sense. This is on Bitcoin, guys. I just showed you that you can make the possibility of understanding of 150% just on Bitcoin in the last month. Think of this on ETH. Think on this on that. Start on Bitcoin always. It's more basic numbers, not as volatile. It is volatile, but not as bad. And remember the power of, imagine learning how to do this on altcoins. Like this, it's just incredible, guys. Now, is there any questions on that before I jump on? Step 1, what does the time frame do, and what part of your portfolio and what business is it for? Step 2, understand the 3 different styles and directions that the token can go. And when it does that, what has it done before? Okay, what's the percentage it's done on a raging up market? What's the percentage it's done to the upside versus the percentage on the downside? When it's a bear market, what does it do? How much does it dump compared to this? You know, just use your RSI. So use your RSI to detect where more or less, because that would be the main tool that will be getting in and out is the RSI. And then do the same thing on the sideways. Okay, great. Where's it right now? Right now, it's this pattern. It's offering this right now. Okay, cool. So if I want to trade now for the next month, this is it. This is the pattern we're currently in. Here's my roadmap for the next month. This is how I make my $1,000 into $1,800. This is exactly where I want to execute it. After that, now we've got to find the trades. Now we're going to put in the tools, and that's what I'll show you guys next. So any questions, guys?
Yeah, that
Sheldon,
is actually my
go for it.
question. Yeah, so I was wanting to ask you, by the way, love the course. It's so clear and so useful.
Thank
It's
you.
really
Thank you.
made everything so much better for me. And but in the course and the short-term trading, you were showing us the tools that you use and when it's in a trending market. But what are the, so we use the stochastic RSI, we use the trend lines, horizontals, and the fib.
I saw this. What do we use in a trending sideways market?
Yeah, exactly.
I saw it. Thank you. That's the next. Okay, cool. So I will go through that now with you pretty simply. So think about it. Let me actually show you while we're on this. Let's actually do this now. Then it's sorted. Think about this one over here. Okay. When we're in a directional move, the Fibonacci is being used on these pullbacks. So Fibonacci is a tool that's very powerful when the market's moving in this direction. Okay, because you're trying to buy pullbacks and you're trying to short pumps. Okay, very, very simple in that tool. The problem is here is a ranging market is meant to make similar lows. So a Fibonacci tool won't work on a ranging market because a Fibonacci tool is meant for bigger waves in one direction, smaller correction, bigger wave. So it'll help you get this buy. But a Fibonacci will get you hurt and not even destroyed, but just stopped out a lot in a raging market like this. And so will possibly a trend line. A trend line is good in that you just got to remember that a trend line, you can't use a trend line with the stochastic RSI. This is something that I was saying in the course. And the reason why you can't do that is the stochastic showing you the bottom phase. The trend line is a confirmation. It doesn't worry about the bottom. It rather gets the market to settle, start to show some momentum and catch a crack when we're starting to see volume come through and these sort of things. So even a trend line is not so great in this specific time. So the best way to use in a ranging market is to use a stochastic RSI and your support and resistance lines. Very, very, very easy actually to understand. So basically you're making similar highs and you're making similar lows in a raging market. And end of the day, your RSI is doing this throughout those times. So what you're basically doing is once you have, think about the only way you're going to find out that you are in a sideways market is when these points are already in, right? Because you won't know. If that's coming down, like if it's coming down hard, it's this pattern. It's not, but if you've seen a coin like similar to what Bitcoin is doing now, where it's going 15.5, 17, 15.5, 17, it's giving that. So the best way to do that is your horizontal lines. So you're selling every time we get to resistance, you're buying every time it's to support with the confirmation of the stochastic RSI as well. And the best way to do this is you can use a trend line incorporated in this, and I'll explain to you how. A trend line, so think of a trend line as an adding tool. It's not the tool that gets that exact initial brilliant buy-in unless you are a confirmation trader, which is fine. You can use just a trend line. But think about it in this form, that if we come down, you're using a horizontal to buy over here and a stochastic when the stochastic's oversold. And then what it's also doing is this is forming a trend when it makes its way down. So the best way to do this is when you're using, remember what you're doing here though, you're using tools to try guess the bottom. So do you know why I've always loved trend lines? Because I don't need to guess the bottom. I can just buy break of trend and like confirmation sort of things. Okay, but the cons to that is I lose 10% or I lose a bit because I'd rather let it bottom out, make its way up, and then get in. So there is that little bit of like the confirmation, and you get fake outs and all these little things. So buying the pullback perfectly and getting it in the perfect entry and the perfect spot is amazing. So do both. So ultimately what you'll do throughout this time in a raging market, remember, it doesn't matter the time frame, guys. Don't confuse yourself with the time frames. Everything's the same. Stochastic RSI and horizontals. Just understand that this pattern doesn't always have to be sideways. It can be doing it like this. Slightly down or slightly up. It can be doing that. So remember, a coin can range not perfectly sideways. It can range slightly at an angle at times, but it's still initially making the lows and the highs in that beautiful, what's it called, channel in this sort of form. So what I'll do is I'll probably look on a strong format of a 60 to 70% entry on my two major indicators. And that's the one is the, the tool, the horizontal support, and my RSI crossing of the lines is a trigger point for me to start off. Okay, to basically 60, 70% in. Then I have a trend line that's tracking down the rest, that's buying a little bit higher, but basically allows me to put the rest of my capital in. Now, why do you do this? Why do you not just put 100% in here? Because if it goes wrong, you get stopped out, that's fine, but you're taking a 5% hit on your full 100%. If you only went 60% in there and you got a 5% stop loss, you'd only lose 3.5% because you don't have your full 100% in. And you see how it like creates that, just that extra protection with the risk, that's laddering in thing. It helps you with that. And then what happens is once we've broken trend, now you know, okay, get my full 100% in, stop loss under that trend and that low, and let's ride that bad boy up to the top. And when this goes through up to the top, you can have the same thing. You're going to approach this area, and you got two ways. You can either become extremely strict to the initial analysis that I'm taking 100% of my profits there, which I do advise, like I do tell you guys, it's really powerful because you can always get it back again. Or you can do the same thing where it makes its way up. You get to those major points, you take 60, 70%. Then you draw a support trend line. And if that support trend line breaks, you get the rest out. In case maybe it pops up higher and your other 20, 30% got a little bit more extra capital, extra growth. You just have to accept that before that you may not, you know what I mean? Like this could break and ultimately you'll take the rest over there. So a trending sideways market's actually not that hard. Just think of it, guys. A Fibonacci tool helps you buy in a really strong market. So you can't use it in a sideways market because it's just going to get you stopped all the time because we're going to go past 618. We're going sideways. You know what I mean? So your stochastic and your horizontals will help you a lot. A trend line's good, but a trend line, you're not getting the bottoms. Like you're buying it once it's already bounced and already calmed down. So for me, a trend line in this instant is a good adding tool. Add to your position. So I'd use my horizontal and my stochastic to get my initial buy order. And once we have broken, then I'll be adding with my trend lines as we make our way up. And I'll be using the trend line support to hold my trade and be like, okay, I'm taking some profits at my levels, your horizontals where you've set them. And if we lose that, I'll take the rest. If that does make sense.
Oh, Sheldon, we had another question from Frank. Frank, are you ready to unmute and share your question with us? There we go. Let me ask you to unmute. You should be able to unmute yourself now. There we go. Go for it, Frank.
One thing, I just trying to remind what. Oh yeah. So how many touches, Sheldon, do you need to see before you can confirm it's actually a ranging wave?
Okay, cool. So if I show you, so ideally what you would need is, I would probably say 2 touches so if there's any 2 touches on the floor, you know that support's in. You want to see obviously the resistance on where it is. So for example, if we had to show this little pattern over here, you know, let me actually bring up any token. Let's go see what any tokens were doing in that time. And I'll give you guys a clean actual chart here. Oh, these are my charts for the show. So let's get this out. Let me clear the chain link chart here and give you a basic understanding. Let's go to the 8 hour. Okay, cool. See over here. So ultimately, you could see here very much that this was a basic, you know, what do you want to call it, diagonal support or something like that. You need 2 touches. 2 touches is what gives you the initial one. You want to either get the third or the fourth, you know, in that sort of time frame. So you're always going to need 2 touches to make any horizontal or any trend line valid, is by having those multiple sort of touches. So remember, you're not trying to trade these little ranges yet. Remember, a sideways range takes time, and you'll see it very much on a market cycle. You know, look how quick this move was here. versus how long this move is here. Okay. And the reason why this excites you by getting ready to buy these, because you know what comes next. You know that the market always comes on a down leg sideways, and then we can be looking at the next recovery. And that's crazy how you can take that market cycle and match it on all these time frames. You can even see it on the 5 minutes. You will see that market cycle do the same sort of thing. So remember that I will look to find the exact accumulating sort of one, and I'll go through it now for you. But you need at least 2 touches to confirm support, 2 touches to confirm form resistance. And that's the basic understanding. And it may be diagonal, it may be this or down, but 2 is what makes it valid. The more, the better. If it's 3, even better. If it's 4, even better. Like it gets more and more and more strong. Think about it, guys. Price is going to 15,000 and it bounces, and it goes to 15,000 and it bounces, and it goes 15,000 and it bounces. Like as a person that's trading, you're like, whoa, like someone's holding this price here. And every time I see it bounce, I'm seeing these long wicks, and I'm seeing volume, and I'm seeing this, like, whoa, is there something I don't know? And then you jump onto Twitter and everyone's saying 10,000, 10,000, 10,000, market's going down, market's going down. But on the chart, you're seeing, whoa. I'm seeing volume, I'm seeing interest here. Like, am I missing something? And then you'll soon see the click of how the FUD and how the news says one thing, yet the chart is showing you something else. And it basically gives you that preparation of like, whoa, like I'm seeing something completely different here. Someone's buying here. There's a lot happening over here. The rest of the world's getting shaken out right now. Like I'm in the right. Just put yourself in that space. Like, how does this make sense? And if you're seeing that interest there, like that's why. So if you can get 3, 4, 5 bounces on a line, that's powerful. You know, it's powerful. And it means don't be scared. Don't be scared to buy on that line and put a flipping tight stop loss, because you know if it drops at any point, that's something we've bounced now for flipping weeks. If we do drop, it's going to be a very fast acceleration down, which means you're going to get a way better entry or way better trade on the next one. So don't be afraid to hit that trade, because you know that if we bounce, this is exactly where we're going to bounce. If we fall here, I'll get stopped for 2-3%, but I know I'm buying 30% cheaper. You know, you see it, and it gives you that basic understanding. So yes, 2, 3, I would say 3 is like a really strong one for me, but 4, 5, as many as thing, but more than 2, definitely more than 2.
Thanks so much, Sheldon.
Cool.
I think there was a question. Thank you, Frank. There was a question from Darren Alexander, which was linked to Frank's question. Darren, are you around? And then Ibrahim, I've noted you will come to you next. Darren, are you around to unmute yourself? Otherwise, I can attempt to try and interpret the question from the
guys,
text.
I also want to, if anyone is looking for a trade to add to your trading journal, this would like a 1 hour sort of chart, but it's the same thing. You know, it's the same thing with horizontals, with trend lines or anything. You know, ultimately 1, 2, 3 touches, great for me. Break of trend, retest as we speak. You know, like now I'm starting to understand the basics of what this is, but I can see this very strongly. Like, I don't know why. And I'm pretty sure if I jump onto Twitter now, everyone's bullish. I'm pretty sure. It's quite crazy, you know what I mean? But I'm going to the charts, I'm like, whoa, but this thing broke trend. It's making lower high right now. RSI is still going to make its way down. You know, like these, do you see how it just changes your thoughts now from the things and actually understanding? So 2, 3 touches, I don't know why. And if it does fake out, it's a beautiful fake out, because it means that it's going way higher. Think of me as a bear, or like someone that I don't like bears. There's nothing wrong with bears, but I don't like people that want Bitcoin to come down. Like, we just all want to be happy. But ultimately, if this breaks out here now, I would put a stop anywhere up in these areas or anything like that to protect myself. That's fine. But if this breaks now, it's going here. You know, so I always put my orders on any trades at a critical area, because if it goes against, it's going to be huge. It's not just a small, like this is a major resistance that Chainlink's been fighting, and it's basically been these areas over here. And you can see it in the gap on the left here, that if we break, this is the resistance we're fighting. These areas over here is what we're fighting. If we break, the next one's only here. So I'm not afraid to take a trade here. I'm not afraid to enter here, because if it breaks out, it's going here. And then it can form a sideways flag or anything like that. And ultimately, let's look at risk to reward. Let's look at the difference between the 2 trades, and why you should never be afraid of taking at a critical area. Let's go use our little short position tool here. Is look here. If I took this trade now, where am I putting my stop? On top there, okay? So 1.6% stop loss. Where would I take profits? Around about here. Look how big my risk to reward is right now. Huge. You know, huge in that sense of 11 to 1 is my risk to reward. Okay, amazing. Now I get stopped and the market's at a critical level and it shoots up. Look at the difference now. I'm still expecting these support areas. Let me just set them up here. Now we take the same tool. I'm like, okay, now this has happened. Look at the difference now. Again, 3% stop. Look at my 30. So this stop below there. Boom. Okay. Risk to reward, similar risk to reward. Remember, 11 or 10 is great, but my percentage, I was going to get a 20%. Now I get a 31% on the next trade. Do you see what happens? Why you connect them at the areas? Because if it breaks out, your next one's even bigger. And from that, if it breaks out again, you know, you can literally take, it's quite crazy, guys. It's quite crazy. This is the 1 hour. This is just giving you example on the 1 hour. But this you could have 3 attempts, 4 attempts, 4 attempts even, until you get it right. So let's say this was a failed trade, fail, and then you catch that one. And that one makes its way all the way down to those areas. Because remember, a market does not go in one direction. At some points, it will correct. And the longer it goes up without a correction, the harder it comes down very fast. You guys know that now. Bears and shorts and these things, they like dropping this market so damn fast. They make us work so hard to make our money. They'll literally 2 weeks, we'll make our money. And in 2 days, they'll remove it all. And that's because tokens go up without correcting. They just keep going straight up. And that's how they trap you. And then they send this thing down super fast. You get panicked out and they rinse and repeat and do the same thing. So never be afraid of these stoppages and these sort of things, because it just preps you more and more for the next trade. Let's take another question and then I can jump on to.
Let's go with it. We've got 3 in waiting and then we can move on. So let's take Darren, then Ibrahim, then Richard. So go for it, Darren.
Hi, good morning. Hi, Mr. Sniper.
What's up?
What's up? Just really quick question, just to follow on from your trend lines. You mentioned about touches. Is there any validity in terms of the wick touches versus close of candle touches in terms of formulating this?
No. So as long as you keep them together though. So what I mean by that is if you're using wicks, you know, you're using the wicks to buy too. Like you can't, like, for example, if you use closing candles, okay, as your lines, you can't, let me actually show you. Let me show you, then you can understand. So if you're using closing candles, buy on closing candles. Don't buy on wicks, for example. So what I mean by that is if you are, like, for example, I have a difference here. Let me use this one as the basic trade, okay? And the basic trade here for me is there's a wick, there's another wick. Okay, cool. Now, all of a sudden, the market decides to start going, make its way down. I don't want the wick or anything to be below this trend line. No wick at all. So my stops are there. Everything's there to get me out if that actually happens. I have to stick to that analysis because if I'm using wicks, wicks have to respect wicks. Very simple. Now, if there's a difference of closing candles, now I take closing candles. The difference with closing candles is it gets a little bit hard for me to manage where to put my stop loss. This is why I've always used wicks. Because, you know, areas of where it's been through before, but basically price can come down here. I can send a wick here and it can close above in here and it can continue. Like that's the thing. So it basically means you have to wait for candle closes. So for me, when price is getting there, I'm not afraid to buy because my wick should not go below that thing. The difference with candle closes is you got to focus on that candle close, on where that closed. So it basically means if price did go down and then came up and closed here, it's still a buy for you on that. So they both work. They both work. I've just always liked wicks because it just gives me a better stop loss hit ratio. It gives me a better if I don't use the closing. But I know a lot of guys that do use closing as well. Just stick to it though. Buy on closings then. Don't buy on wicks on a closing candle trend line. You know what I mean? And if you're using wicks, buy wicks. You know what I mean? So just keep it together in that format.
Okay.
That's perfect. Just don't confuse the two because then it becomes like you don't know where to put your stop loss, bro.
Yeah, that's what I'm finding. I'm getting a bit confused. Wicks, close, and then it just mixed the two up, and then I just
So either one is fine. They're both right. The one's just a bit more patient on the close.
And you would prefer the wicks?
I personally do, but you could love it. Like they both work incredibly strong. I just don't have the patience. You know, if my buy's there now and hit my trend line, I'm buying, putting my stops in. Otherwise, I look at my 8-hour candle now and I'm like, oh, still 6 hours to go. You know what I mean? It's all that sort of, yeah.
Cool. Thank you, my friend. Cheers.
Cool, brother.
Cool. Thank you. Let's move on to Ibrahim. You've been waiting so patiently. Thank you, sir. Go for it.
Hey, Sheldon. I got a question about breaking the trend. So in the course you mentioned when you see a break, you buy 50% and then you buy another 50% at the retest.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about that and why you just don't buy it? A lot of people say just buy at the retest. So why don't you do 100% at the retest?
Sometimes it doesn't retest. And then you're like really upset. For example, let me show you here. So if I show you this little area over here, you see here. So what happened with Bitcoin is we're trending. You see the more trend lines, the better, more touches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we broke out. We never retested. So for me, I would have basically lost, you know, ultimately. So I'm going 50-50 because that's usually been strong. I've even been at a point of going 100% on the break. It does get a lot more riskier on the break though, because your stop loss is pretty low and you're basically laddering in this breakout here. So your risk gets a little bit higher because you're going all in on that. So I like to go 50-50 because reason being is if this had to make its way up and then we had to completely lose this, I'd only lose it on 50%. Because remember, I'm waiting for RSI or I'm waiting for proper confirmation of me holding that to add the other 50 in. But sometimes you don't get the retest, and you can see it over here. So you would have missed this whole trade over here if you went just 100% on the retest. You wouldn't have got this trade. At least, yeah, I would have made 60% of my trade because I would have had 60 or 50% on the buy, and I never got the retest. But ultimately, I'd still be in the money right now, and I'd still be making on that actual trade. So if you just go on the retest, like it does work a lot. I'd probably say 7 out of 10 times the retest does happen, but sometimes the retest doesn't happen. And ultimately, would you rather, like, you know, you could have made $500 in the trade if you had all your positions in, but you only managed to get half, but you still made $250. You know, it's still a better way than just buying everything on the retest. You can buy everything on the break as well. That is pretty good. Just remember that you might be in a little bit of red first. And what that means is if you look at this little trend line over here, you could see that this is moving down, right? So if we broke out, we can still come test lower than where that was. So you got to remember that if you bought 100% there, keep your stops still quite low because we can still come down and test it slightly lower from where you bought if it does test. So just be aware of that. And if you're aware of that, you're calm, you understand, you know where to put your stops, have your stops a little bit further down. And then as soon as we start to break our next higher lows, and you can see here that this formed a very good continuation pattern. See, these patterns play out on all different time frames. That's a continuation pattern. It broke it again, and now it's moving up. And you can see here very clearly that this is where now I've put in my support trend line. I know I'm getting to another horizontal critical area of where I should be taking profits. So my TPs are set there, and I have a trend line protecting me on that. And initially, if you had to look, you know, do you see why you can't trade trend lines and stochastic RSI? Because do you see here, the breakout was when the RSI was here. So you see why you have the differences here. So ultimately, you would have bought here if you use the Fibonacci. Let me actually show you. I'm pretty sure if I take this Fibonacci on this push over here, and I'm pretty sure this would hit the 618. Boom. So that would have been your first buy. And then you would have laddered in more on this breakout over here. So your RSI and all of that would have indicated the first buy over there. Then you would have added more in that zone over there. Then you put your support trend line in on the way up. Does it make sense? Sorry, I'm explaining a lot of things here on why you can't just buy the retest because you're not guaranteed it. So ultimately, you don't even want to be buying, you know, I love confirmations. Trust me, I do. I love them more if they're going really sideways for long. But for me, if you can find a way of buying some on the pullback and then adding more on the breakouts, it can make you more successful and more strong on that because you don't always get the retest. So just be aware if you do use just the trend line strategy and the confirmation one, sometimes you will only have 50% of your order filled, and you cannot go against that and just add more when you want. You can maybe add a little bit more on these little break of trends here, little bits, but you're not allowed to go and put your full position in because your risk is just way too high throughout those times.
That makes sense. Just as a follow-up, when we say retest, does it always have to be in the same time frame? Because sometimes you zoom in and you can see it retest your trend line. Does that make sense? Like when we say retest, when you say retest, what does it mean?
So
Always in
remember
your time
what I
frame.
said about if you go to a lower time frame, it's okay to go to a lower time frame. Just don't use the analysis on that time frame. So what I mean by this is if you had to look at this breakout here, you can jump to a 1 hour and try catch this retest. But don't put a stop loss under the 1 hour. If you took the analysis on 8 hour, don't put a stop loss under the 1 hour low. So for example, if you look in here, the 1 hour would be showing you something completely different. There would be lows here. You know, you don't see it on the 8 hour, but they would. So if you zoom in on the 1 hour, you can use it. That's the area you want to buy, and you buy there. Still keep to the original analysis though, of putting the stop loss on the 8 hour chart. Where do you put that? Because if you change your mind, that's the only reason why I'm saying I'll show you on the 1 hour. You could see these, let me zoom in for you guys. It is quite messy now, but you'll get the basic understanding. There we go. And let's make it big. So you see here, this broke out. So you're waiting. Maybe let's say it did come and retest something like that. You would have a stop loss under here if it was a 1 hour break or anything like that. It's fine to zoom in and get this buy and get this order in, but stick to your original analysis. You see here's not even showing a full low, but on the 4 hour, it's showing that that's where the low was. So all that I'm saying is it's okay to zoom in. Just don't change your analysis. If you took your analysis on the 8 hour, stick to the 8 hour analysis. You can zoom in, just don't change your analysis because of what the smaller time frame is. Remember, it's gonna try to tell you something different, and that's where it's gonna confuse you and basically try change your opinion of something. Whatever time frame you took it on, stick to that.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, cool.
Cool. Let's hear from Richard.
I see someone, yeah, that's why I get stopped out so often. Amazing. So put that in your journal now, fix it, and next week come back, use your paper trail. Like we got it.
Hey, Sheldon, thanks for your time.
Pleasure, bro.
You're welcome. I have a question regarding Link 4 hour. You just showed the chart, and I entered the trade at 743, and I took a Fibonacci from the bottom to the top, and this was actually showing 713 more or less. But I didn't trust it, and at the end it touched it there perfectly. So I should have listened to the tool. But just a couple of minutes ago, you told us that on a raging wave, like where we are at the moment, you cannot take the Fibonacci tool. But for some reason, it should work out in my chart because the cross was there of the 50 MA and the 200 MA. And it looks like that it's going in an uptrend at the moment. So what are your thoughts on this?
So right now, it is definitely showing, you know, think about it. So I look at it now. Is it on the 4 hour?
Yeah, it was in the 4 hour. Yeah, I took
So
that
4
trade.
hour
I think it was yesterday or the day before yesterday. I entered
the long
43. Yeah, the long. Yeah.
Okay, and you went way up. So the way I simply look at it is I just look at this, very simplicity. Firstly, stochastic getting to the top. So are you still in your trade?
Yeah, I'm still in it. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'd start be prepping, you know, when am I looking to take, but we're getting there now. And to be honest, if we look at the actual chart, I see let me just see here. I see a lower low, firstly, which indicates possibly a lower high. I see a trend line. I see us break that trend line and currently going for a retest. Secondly, I take my Fibonacci and I take it from here to the bottom. Currently, as we speak, I'm getting rejected at 618.
Okay.
So you could see over there. So right now, what I have is I have 3 or 4 indicators telling me that this is a TP area. If I want, I can put another smaller trend line here and wait for that to possibly break to confirm. But as I see it right now, it's more me prepping for this to get rejected here and possibly come down. Like I won't be taking longs here. I'd actually be looking at taking some profits here. And ideally, I want the better long. This is the better one for me. Is this area over here to get them. So, yeah, so I think you got the successful trade. We did break this trend. So this one over here, let me draw it. This trend we did break, so that was great. Perfect entry. You just got to now zoom out and be like, okay, I just showed you this over here. Okay.
Yeah.
If you look at Chainlink as it speaks, have we had, if you zoom out, have we had a decent correction, like a
No.
actual decent pullback? We haven't. We haven't had that decent one yet. So it's showing strength, but for me, it's still in this leg at the moment. And ultimately, this one will come, and you want to prep for this one.
Yeah.
So you used a little bit. You've made some money now. But ultimately, you know, worst scenario is you take profits now, and what it basically does is it breaks out, makes its way down, and we turn this into support. We track that trend, and you get the next one. Or it basically works beautifully in your favor where this falls all the way down. You just made a little bit of money. All the way down here, goes sideways, your RSI's reset, and you take the next one. And ultimately, that one should be the bigger one, should be the next big wave that could take Chainlink to the next levels.
Yeah, so
basically back to the areas of $9.
Yeah, so my TP is at 7.99 at the moment. So I think I should close it right now.
7.99.
7.99, yeah.
Okay, so it's basically at these little areas over here, which could it could be fine, but for me, I would take TPs now, take a breather, and then wait for the next. Because right now you have about 2 indicators that could be bullish, and you got about 4 that are saying we should make another leg down.
Okay.
So right now, if you want to find a structure and a rule system that works, you only have 2 things saying bullish right now, and 4 of them saying this. So if it was your rule system, it would say cut the trade, take your profits, wait till you at least have 4 bullish signals again, then you can go long. And that's basically, but it was great. You made some money. You made a little bit of a trade, which is fine. Sometimes the market offers you 5%, sometimes it offers you 50%. That's sort of what we're in. But remember, you are buying it after. You basically you're buying it after 35% pump already. So basically you're trying to just trade this little piece here. So rather take your time, take some profits, say, well done, I've learned a lot, and rather try get the next one full. Try get the whole wave on the next one. So don't focus on this wave so much because you already missed half of it. So focus on how am I going to get this one? How am I going to get that whole next move? How am I going to prep that? And that's great. Do you see how you could come in this morning and already justify where you are in this wave, giving you a basic understanding that this is short trades, my quick 3-4%, I'll make some money. But in about 10 days or in about 6 days, I can be getting the big one. So let me make a little bit of money now, but let me start prepping and looking at how I'm going to get the big one. You know what I mean? And you see how you preempt. So when the big one comes, you're not surprised because you've just spent 6 days planning on how you're going to nail it.
True.
You know what I mean? And that's how you become extremely good.
So last question regarding the Fibonacci, you took it from the top to the bottom. I did from the bottom to the top. Why did you took it from the top to the bottom in this one?
So remember, so let me clear this chart for you and show you. So if markets, I'm expecting, because we dropped trend, I'm expecting it to go down.
Yeah.
So it basically means that if I'm expecting it, remember, if it's going up, it's basically in that format, and corrections basically work in that format. A, B, C. So what that means is we break trend, we test it, and we make another leg down. Remember, if I'm looking at, so that basically means temporary, I'm bearish, right? Or in that form. So I want to know the retest, the offload zone on that. If market's going this way, I'm using Fibonacci to determine where it's going to go. Okay. Correction there. If market is going this way, I'm using Fibonacci from top. Remember, you're following the direction of the market. I'm moving it from top to bottom so that I know where this is going to go. You see, so ultimately what I saw here was we did break trend. So I'm expecting another leg down. So I want to use this wave, this previous wave, to detect on where is the 618. So I'll take it from there down, boom. And you can see we're getting rejected at 618 right now as we speak throughout that time.
Okay.
So which is great. Yes.
Cool. Thank you for your answer.
Okay, cool. Amazing.
Cool. Thank you, Sheldon. So I am conscious of time, and SK, I'm so sorry. I know you've been waiting with your hand up, but I'm going to move us on, and hopefully maybe in the breakout rooms, we can have someone else answer your question. Sheldon.
Yeah.
Now, I know we wanted to still cover journals, but I am conscious that you are already 30 minutes away from your show starting. So a proposal I wanted to make, we did sort of move off plan a little bit, but I think you've shared a lot of useful information, which has come out of the questions. So if we maybe kickstart this evening session with the journals and focus on the journals, and anyone who's able to come through for that second session, if you aren't able to, we will be recording it. I know you have committed to one session, but if you have the capacity to come back, then at least, Sheldon, we can focus our attention on the journals later this evening, if that makes more sense.
Yes. And remember, guys, it's recorded as well. So just make sure if you did miss, you weren't able to make tonight, I'll go through journals. Was that good, guys? Did we enjoy it?
Yeah, I think it's just watching the comments. It's super valuable to everyone. I see some requests for AMAs on Fibonacci. If anyone wants to volunteer their services in the Discord, please go ahead and let us know.
Come on.
Amazing.
So
in that regard, then, Sheldon, let's kick off later with the focus on the journals, and then you can cover some other stuff as well that might come up from questions. So I will release you and your team for now. For those of you that are able to stick around, I'm going to do a quick leaderboard, and then we're going to jump into the breakout rooms for anyone that would like to chat about their trades of the week or anything you've learned this week that you want to just touch base on with your team. So thank you so much, Sheldon. Thank you to Mama Sniper, to Craig, to Jason, the rest of the team.
I appreciate it.
That was
Thank
really
you,
great.
guys.
Really, really good. Well done.
Yeah,
awesome.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Awesome. Cool. So on that note, for anybody who is able to stick around, very, very quickly, sharing the leaderboards with you all. I wasn't in slideshow. There we go. Wanted to acknowledge our top contributors from this last week: Skinny D from Team Americas, Sling Daddy from Team Europe, Discord Dummy from Team Africa, Lee Cullerton from Team United Kingdom, and Bomi Rupa from Team APAC. You guys have made amazing contributions in the Discord. Let's give them a round of applause. It's a silent round of applause. Sorry about that, but a round of applause nonetheless. And then to look at our leaderboard for the week, the competition is heating up. So UK did really well last week, and they got some serious bonus points, which kept them in the lead. But Team Europe is coming up fast behind Team UK and the rest of the world, and Team Americas. Amazing stuff going on that came through with the American flag and the challenge that Waz with the Z had set for you. And in Europe, you got Team Europe, you got the bonus points for the number of people who had the proportionate number of people who had submitted assignment 2 by the time I was collating all the data yesterday evening. So this is where we're at in terms of the team scores. Team APAC, Team Africa, you are not too far behind. Keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing. Take the Discord challenges seriously. We will continue with that assignment submission, because I know a lot of people hadn't gotten around to assignment 2 just yet. So we'll continue that on. And overall, next week, the team with the most amount of submissions combined will add some bonus points there. So congratulations to the team. It's been really amazing to see how everybody's been sharing so much information. There's been so much alpha that's going on in the team channels. Thank you to the mods for leading that. Really, really cool to see this community growing and working together and sharing knowledge. So on that note, I am officially sort of closing out our session this morning. Thank you all. One thing actually, before people actually jumped off, I wanted to share something really exciting. I told you in our email that we had a little surprise for you. So next Monday, for our final workshop 3 and event for the 8 p.m. slot. So for those of you that can join us for that evening event, we will be hosting Gareth Soloway. Most of you probably know him already from the banter shows. He's a legendary trader, so much experience, so much alpha to share, and he has kindly offered to join us on our Zoom call, give us some of his personal insights. So for those of you who are already fans of Gareth Soloway, you can look forward to having him join us then. That's the 6 p.m. GMT. So it will be 8 p.m. South African time, but 6 p.m. GMT across the world. So if you are able to join us, Gareth will be with us next Monday on the 12th to help us close out our workshop 3 and final event. So for the rest of this week, just keep working on your trades, keep learning, keep chatting, keep joining in on those Discord chill and chat AMAs and check-ins with the team. And just to say a huge thanks to the people in our community who are running those conversations. It's really super, it's just so exciting to see this, the vibe and the energy in this community. So with that being said, I am going to send you out into your breakout rooms. Feel free to stick around for as long as you'd like to. You don't have to return to the main meeting after this, and we'll catch up with you through the day and during the week. Thank you to the Crypto School team for helping to coordinate today's session, and thanks to everyone for joining us. Have a lekker week ahead. See you in the breakout rooms.